All right.
Hello, this is Dave Shipper again, and I'm here talking in our Songwriting Conversations to our sixth finalist, right? No, our fifth
I think I
finalist,
was fifth. Yeah.
Theocles. Theo, are you from Rochester right now? Or is that where you're being streamed from?
Yes, I'm in Rochester right now. I came back here after going home for a little while during the pandemic. So
Really? Okay. And home is Virginia?
yeah, Charlottesville, Virginia.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Well, that's a
yeah.
That's an infamous name nowadays, Charlottesville. I come from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and that took me a
Mhm.
long time with that Netflix show to tell people I was from Manitowoc. They go, "Oh, that murder town."
Yeah. Charlottesville ever since the Nazi events in 2017 has been, and I actually have a little thing I want to talk about that later because I've written some stuff about it. But
Well,
we
we one of my first questions was how you're doing during that pandemic, and you already said that you took a trip back home. Are you working?
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I live alone in my apartment here in Rochester, and when things were normal, I mean, that's great with me. I go out, I get to see people, do things, whatever. But when quarantine hits, suddenly I'm trapped up in my apartment by myself. I don't get to see anybody, and I did that for about a month, and it was pretty difficult mentally for me. So I made the decision to pack up my stuff and drive home to Charlottesville. My older brother, and my mom were both there, so we all lived together for a month and a half, and then at the start of June, it looked like things were starting to open up a bit. It's summer in Minnesota as opposed to how cold it was when I left, so decided it was time to come back. So I've been here for a few weeks now.
Well, so now, how has that affected your songwriting?
Yeah, it's well, obviously, as every musician will say, it's been very rough to not play live shows.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my absolute favorite thing to do. So, not doing that has been difficult. I have also had struggles with trying to get live streaming stuff to sound good, because I wanted to keep making music. So I've been trying to live stream some stuff, but I'm not a sound engineer. I don't know how to make it good. So I've done a lot of research and talked to a lot of people and managed to cobble some stuff together, but it was a very stressful aspect of it all,
Yeah,
trying to get
it,
my sound quality to be good.
it's been a really struggle to hear all the varieties and all the qualities that are out there. And
Yeah,
some of them are painful. I love the musician, but I'm not going to listen to a painful live stream.
yeah, yeah. It's actually one of the reasons that my first submission for the songwriting contest was "Where the Clovers Grow."
Yeah,
Um, I think it's a brilliant song, and but on top of that, I knew that it'd be very easy to make it sound good because all I need to worry about is a single feed. So that was like, I'll start with this one. Can't really go wrong, and I guess it worked out. So
that one was recorded just for our contest.
yeah, it was.
It's
I
wonderful.
don't. I not really use my YouTube channel much. I had a few other videos up there. I recorded a couple things just for
Mhm.
just for your contest, um, including that one. So
Did you write it to be an a cappella song? I was always curious about that.
yeah, I did. So I don't know. Sometimes the songwriting process for me, it really depends. Sometimes I think of a subject and then I write a song to fit it. Sometimes I think of a song style and then come up with the subject later. And this was one of those cases where I just thought it'd be cool if I was thinking of like old Irish like sea shanty style, or like I don't know if you ever heard the King Singers. They're a very famous kind of like old style a cappella group. Um, just like, I don't know. I thought it'd be cool to write an a cappella song. Um,
It caught our attention. There's no doubt about it.
yeah,
And that was our first week, and we looked at each other as a songwriting contest committee, and we said, "My goodness, this is going to be a difficult thing." We had like 4, 5, 6 songs the first week we just fell in love with. So, and that was
yeah. But I've listened through a lot of them. There's some really good stuff there, and
yeah,
and when I didn't win the first couple of weeks, I didn't feel bad about it because listening to all the other artists, I was like, yeah, fair enough. So, um,
So it
obviously,
sounds like you're kind of mechanical when it comes to the songwriting process, because you think to yourself, I'm going to write a song like this or write a song like that. So is the muse just randomly visit you, or are you a type of person who actually sits down and plans to write something every day?
it really depends on the song. I definitely don't plan to sit down and write something every day. Um, I some songs I like Where the Clovers Grow. Once I had the idea that I wanted to write an Irish a cappella song, then for me the next natural step, and then I was the idea that I wanted to write about my grandma because she had recently passed away and she was very Irish Catholic. I mean, that was her religion. It was a big part of her identity. So it felt very fitting. It felt like the emotions fit the song. And once I had that idea, I sat down and wrote the song in about 15 minutes, just on the spot. And I've got a few songs like that. But other times I'll come up with a riff or a melody and I'll sit on it for months and months
Mhm.
and then eventually sit down one day and be like, I really want to write this song. Let's hammer out the details. And yeah, so it's definitely more of an emotional response for me. But there are times where I'm like, this is a really cool idea for a song, but I need to sit down and figure out exactly what to do with it. So
Now,
I go sometimes I go weeks without writing anything. Sometimes I write 3 things in a week. So it really just depends.
um, what kind of who do you think are your biggest influencers, and where do you see them in your songs?
Well, the biggest one and the most obvious one for anyone who's heard me play a lot is Ed Sheeran. Um,
Okay.
he's I know he's got made a name for himself as a big pop artist, but I guess I should say Ed Sheeran's earlier music,
Sure.
because the stuff from his earlier albums is well, first of all, he uses a loop pedal too when he performs live. He does guitar looper voice, which is exactly what I do when I perform my live gigs. So um, that's one way it's been an influence, and it's also just like the emotional aspect of it. You know, a lot of songs are very emotional, very very catchy melodies. So it's hard to describe. I mean, I could point to if I could play you all the songs I've written, then I could point to certain ones, be like, this little thing right here,
Sure.
this comes from him. And sometimes I realize it as I'm writing it. I'm like, I'm kind of stealing this idea a little bit. Sometimes I don't realize until much later. I've had people point out to me before, or they hear one of my songs, they're like, when you do that, it reminds me of this other song. I'm like, oh yeah, that is the same, isn't it? So
Well,
um,
you're the first person who has mentioned him, but I would have to say that you're one of the younger ones that have made our finalists. I'm going to guess you're maybe 24 or 25.
23.
Okay, so yeah,
That
yeah, we had a, I think somebody who is 15 send us a song in the songwriting contest. She is from Winona. I've run into her before. A young talent that's going to go far. Um,
Mhm.
but we didn't pick you because you were young. Okay, I
That's
was
good to know.
maybe Ed Sheeran. Yeah, you're obviously not a Dylan guy. like I,
Yeah, I mean, I come from a different generation. What could I say?
well, so did you ever see the movie Yesterday? I think
I haven't. I
Ed,
really
Ed
wanted to watch
is
it,
in
but I
that.
haven't seen it now.
I'm
Yeah,
sure Ed is in that one. It's pretty funny. Uh,
yeah. No, I remember seeing the trailers for it, but I don't really go to the movie theater very often. So I'm
I,
still just kind of waiting for it to come out on some streaming service, and then I'll give it a
it's not,
go.
I think it's either on Amazon Prime or Netflix because I've scrolled by it and said, oh, I've seen that one already. So
All
is
right,
it,
I'll give it a look. See then. I'll search for it.
so you
Thank
grew
you.
you grew up in Virginia. Virginia is kind of a close to the Appalachians and
hmm
that type of roots music. Any of that show up in your songwriting, or was that not your style of music as you were growing up?
Well, growing up is a difficult thing. Is I didn't really start being a musician until like I guess started college. So about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Pretty good.
Um,
Yeah.
so it wasn't something I had thought about a whole lot growing up. I mean, obviously sang in the shower and whatever. But um, I haven't really considered myself a musician for my whole life. But yeah, as far as influences, I mean, there are some obvious like lyrics in my songs that reference it. I've got one song that the hook mentions the West Virginia hills. You know, I've gone whitewater rafting up in the Appalachians and over in West Virginia and done some hikes there. So I've talked about that a little bit. Um, the obvious one is I have a song called "Roses on the Pavement," which is about the events in Charlottesville back in 2017. And I've got another song that's references it briefly. So those are the obvious, like, I'm talking about Virginia things in my songs. I also got a couple others. I've got one that references. I feel weird playing it in front of Minnesotans because it references being happy about like the first snowfall, you know? Because in Virginia, that's a big deal, you know? I mean, we get a couple snows a year, and it's always very exciting. You know, we get school off for a couple days. Everyone goes outside. It's a really happy thing. Up here, everyone hates the snow. You know, they're so done with it. So I've got this song called "Silver Linings." It's all about like, oh, like look at like the happy things, and the chorus is all about like, you know, cute dogs and like your favorite song and all that stuff. One of the lines is about stepping out into fresh snow, and
Well,
that's the Virginian thing, and it's not a Minnesotan thing.
there are people around us that really do like snow. You know, we like the first couple. After that, we're done.
That's how I felt when I moved here. So
And you moved here for work. It sounds like.
yeah. So I graduated last May, a little over a year ago, from College William and Mary in Virginia. And then I had an internship up in Philadelphia last summer, and then in September I got a job in Mayo, and I came out to work here. So
It's a great organization. You know,
yeah,
I've only heard fantastic things about it. So
yeah, it's been very good.
I work over in Winona, Minnesota. So I cross the river.
Oh, really? What do you do for your day job?
And my day job is working at Windcraft. I've been working there since 1985. We make sports products, you know, the pennants and, you know, bumper strips and flags, and now we're making sports masks.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell you,
I'm a bit
really busy at it. So
I'm a big soccer player, a big soccer fan. So
oh
I
sure,
can
we got
respect that. Yeah.
licenses for soccer, even international licenses. So
Oh, sweet. All right. I didn't know there
um,
was one of those.
yeah, and so have you gotten to the Minnesota FC yet?
No, I was planning to go up to one of the games like a couple weeks. It was like right before COVID hit. Um, so I was in my plan. One of many things that got canceled, but soon.
Well, do you have any other questions for us? It's been fun talking to you, Theo. Number one, you did mention that you loop a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
that to me is a challenge right there. Is to know where you are in a song, keep the pattern the same. You know when you're going to click the button, unclick it. And I'm always amazed by that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but it is very difficult. It's something I only picked it up back in like November. So I haven't been doing it for too long, like only about half a year. Um, and I've worked really hard to get better at it and start to incorporate it in my live shows. One of the pros of the pandemic is I've had a lot of time to get better with it. Um, both writing new stuff on it and improving the stuff that I have. Just figuring out new ways to use it and make sure that I get the timing exactly right.
I don't know if
Yeah, so
I don't know if you ever seen the artist who calls herself the Nunnery.
no, I haven't.
Uh,
All
look
right, I'll write that down.
look her up on YouTube or something, because she does everything looped, and it's all vocals or slight percussions or a couple of electronic things.
Oh,
She's
really?
amazing. She's an amazing artist.
That sounds sweet. Yeah,
Yes, from the Twin Cities.
I
Um,
managed to get a looping with just vocal. I have one song that's just like vocals, kind of like a cappella stacked. Um, and that was I could only do it for one song. I couldn't figure out how to do it for all the other ones. So that's very impressive for me. To me.
It's, you know, that is, my vocal skills are pretty weak. So
Hey, don't sell yourself short.
well, yeah, they're kind of like that Bob Dylan, Greg Brown range, you know, very short and sweet.
We got
But
that guitar in the background. Show it off a little bit.
um, you know, I'm amazed at the people who can hear themselves and then add a harmony to their own voice. So that, you know, you keep at it, kid. Um,
Thanks.
so you know where the Great River Folk Fest is? You know about us? You found us somehow?
Yeah, you just showed up on my Facebook feed one day with the songwriting competition, and it was free,
Yeah.
and I was bored, so so I started writing videos. That's about the extent of it. I mean, I checked where you are. You're in La Crosse, right?
Yeah, we've been doing this
Yeah.
about 45 years. I think this was going to be our 45th year, so I don't know, somewhere around that. I've
Yeah.
I've been on the committee for the last 5 years, but I've been a audience member probably for 40 of the 45 years. So I
Wow.
missed too many.
Okay.
It's a
So you're
fun,
entrenched.
yeah, fun little festival. And it's one that you just walk up and meet somebody, you know, and talk to them.
Mhm.
Not like it's not like these big festivals that get out of hand, and you know, you never get a chance to talk to the artist. So we'll give you a shot at becoming a finalist. Well, you are a finalist now, and then there'll be another committee that's going to review it. You'll get another chance to put in a video, pick which ones you want, or add another one. You come up, write a new song for it.
Yeah, I think I've got a good idea. I'm going back in the studio these next coming weekends.
Oh, cool.
So I'm thinking of I'm definitely doing some live recordings of a few of my songs, a few of my acoustic pieces. So I might get a good video in the studio when I've got like the top quality equipment there, you know. Probably try and send that in. So that's probably my plan.
Well, if you don't have any other questions, it's been fun talking to you, Theo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been nice to talk to you, Dave, and thank you
Yeah,
for taking the time to do this.
we'll
Yeah.
probably post this in about 2 or 3 weeks. I'm posting one a week, and I think I'm posting the third one this weekend.
Okay.
Posted,
Sounds great.
we posted into our blog just for a little extra getting to know our artists. You know, it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. As calling, you are actually, I don't know if you were the closest, but I've had one in Wisconsin, one now in Minnesota, one in Alberta, Canada, one in Spain,
Wow.
in Germany, and one in Houston. So I've been globe trotting
You're,
for
the
these.
Europeans. Okay. How do
Yeah, and there's a couple other Europeans, or I think there was an English guy who had put in a song. So I always
That's
ask,
awesome.
you guys are going to come here if you win? You know, it is fest booking. And only one of them said, well, you know, maybe I might not. You know, so,
Well, I will definitely be there because if
yep.
well,
Well,
I guess it got canceled for this year, didn't it? So
canceled for this year, but you know, I tell you what, you're close enough that if we do anything local this year, we might give you a call. You know,
oh, please give me a call. I'd love to do that.
yeah,
I've been
if
starved of live performances and
we're watching the social distancing. We've had some
Mhm.
conversations. You know, we want to keep music alive for everybody. And this was
Yeah.
good for, I think, more of all 50 states and globally, but we also want to keep it alive locally too. So
Yeah.
it's a community effort.
Yeah, absolutely. If you ever need someone to play, happy to do it. Happy to make the drive. So
Good. Well, we'll be in touch, Theo, and
yeah,
thank you very much for the conversation.
absolutely. Thank you very much, Dave.